Great people, what is going on? Good, happy day. Hope you're feeling well, amazing, wonderful. Don't forget to like this video. Let's get right into it, guys. Okay, so we know that America has had numerous, way too many school shootings, and they have happened at the hands of young people. So what does it say? This says that in our parental roles, in our home, in our foundational environment, something goes wrong. Now we're going to talk about this at the end, but I want us to get into this video. Many of you are aware of this situation already. So let's tap in. Parents must change their behavior. Mother of school shooter convicted. Wow.
In a critical verdict, a parent is being held criminally responsible for their child's deadly school shooting. A Michigan jury found Jennifer Crumbley guilty of involuntary manslaughter. My colleague Maggie Vespa has the details.
Tonight, an unprecedented verdict.
We find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Jennifer Crumbley found guilty on 4 counts, one for each student her son killed, leaving the courtroom in handcuffs as the first parent in the U.S. ever convicted for their role in a mass school shooting committed by their child. The jury forewoman speaking out to NBC News.
It was very difficult. It wasn't an easy.
And see, I bet it was. And I'm sure, she was stunned and other people were stunned because this has never happened. The first time in American history that a parent was convicted. And I'm actually glad in this case, when you hear more of the details, because I followed this story. In this case, when you hear some of the things that they're saying that the parent was aware of and how the parent participated and the lack of accountability that the parent took is why they convicted her.
Decision. The thing that really hammered it home is that she was the last adult with the gun.
After the verdict, family members of those 4 students hugging prosecutors.
The moment you heard the verdict, what went through your mind?
Well, that I can breathe.
Craig Schilling lost his 17-year-old son, Justin.
He loved life and he deserved to live it.
The historic verdict following 7 days of emotional testimony, culminating with Crumbley taking the stand in her own defense.
I wish she would have killed us instead.
Prosecutors suggested she was a negligent mom who ignored mounting red flags about her son's behavior.
She did not give him the help that he wanted.
The defense arguing Crumbley was an engaged parent.
No one could have expected this, including Mrs. Crumbley.
Legal experts say this case may have implications far beyond this courthouse.
Does this open the door for parents to be held accountable for mass shootings, school shootings in the future?
Absolutely.
It absolutely does.
It sure does.
This will be used as persuasive precedent.
But for Steve St. Juliana, it's simply justice for his 14-year-old daughter, Hannah.
Wow.
Anything you want to say to the jury?
Just thank you for using common sense.
I want to welcome my friend Fred Guttenberg. He lost his beautiful 14-year-old daughter, Jamie, in the Parkland shooting almost 6 years ago to the day. Fred, when I invite you on TV, it's usually not with good news. So I want to get your reaction tonight. When you heard this verdict today, how did it make you feel? I think you're muted, Fred. I hear you now. I hear you now.
Okay. All right. No, listen, this verdict today, I can't say it gave me satisfaction because you can't remove it from what happened, but accountability matters.
That's right.
Listen, Stephanie, when Jamie was born 20 years ago, we had 200 million weapons in America. Today, 20 years later, we are over 400 million. We now have more guns than people. And when you look at school shootings, 76% of them are done by kids who get their guns from inside the home. We can't change the fact that there's 400 million weapons on our streets, but we can start holding those responsible, the parents.
That's right.
For allowing their kids to get the access that caused this kind of carnage. Parents need to know you have a responsibility to lock up your weapons. And if you don't, and if your child kills somebody, you will also go to prison.
And I think that's how unfortunately, that's how it should be. Who's going to be held accountable? That's your kid. That is your kid. It is your responsibility. And it is also your responsibility to understand and know when your child is going through mental health issues, because it was clear that this young man needed help. And the thing, when the school told her, you need, pull him out of school, he needs to get help, you gonna send him to school the next day anyway? You gonna send him the next day? They told you the boy needs help. You need to take him to see a mental health professional, because they probably would have kept him in a hospital. They probably would have kept him because of the note, the letter, the drawing, whatever they had that implicated him. I don't remember what it was that day, but whenever they pulled him in with the parent, they showed him that this is a sign of clearly that something is destructive is going to happen. And she sent the boy to school the next day. What parent is going to do that? I mean, do you think it's a joke? Do you think it's a joke? Were you in fear of your kid? I mean, I don't understand it.
Do you feel that today's decision is going to change parents' behavior? I mean, even think about the way when you and I were in high school, right? And the way underage drinking took place in people's homes, how that's changed because parents today know that they're liable if that happens in their home. Do you think this verdict is going to change parents' behavior?
Not overnight, but it's a start. Listen, we
It
as
is
a
a
country
start.
have to treat our relationship with guns differently from this point forward. I'll say it again. We have over 400 million guns. The gun lobby, they got their way. 20 years ago, AR-15 sales were only 2% of guns sold. Today, they're 25%. Parents must change their behavior because the truth
They
is
should,
we now
and I
live in a
completely
different
agree.
environment when it
I
comes to the
completely
numbers of these weapons
agree.
that exist. And if parents
Absolutely.
don't change their behavior, then we must push Congress
That's right.
to pass something like Ethan's Law or
Exactly.
other types of safe storage to ensure that parents that have a responsibility and will be held to account by the law if they don't.
That's right.
But put Congress aside for a moment. I know how hugely frustrating it is for you. Does it give you hope that behaviors are changing? I mean, what does it tell you that in Michigan, a gun-friendly state, a jury voted unanimously?
No, I'm not about removing the guns. That's not going to solve the problem. I am truly for the Second Amendment. I am for protection. Now, it's up to the parent to make sure your gun is locked up. So I don't feel that, okay, removing guns is going to be the problem solver. We know that's not true. However, if you're going to have your gun and you want to continue to have that privilege and you have children, it's the adult's responsibility. You're the adult. It's your responsibility to make sure it's locked up and put away, period.
To convict this mother.
Oh, no, listen. Stephanie, I think you know, having gotten to know me, my entire life going forward is finding hope that we can do better. And when I see moments like this, it does give me hope. Those are responsible adults. Some of them may have been gun owners who held this person to account. And that just tells me that gun owners and non-gun owners have had it, that they do want to live safely, that they do want their children to come home at the end of the day. And you know what? Parents, they also want to be able to come home from work to their kids. And so, you know, I think all day I've been thinking of my friend, Kristen Song, whose son Ethan was killed within the same month as Jamie because he went to play at a friend's home where a gun was left unsecured. She has been a warrior fighting for safe storage. I think, as you know, I'm a senior advisor with Brady. They have their entire End Family Fire campaign. We are going to continue working tirelessly to get this work done because your life or the life of someone you love may depend on it. And for me, that fight is worth it.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm grateful for your work, Fred. You are working to keep my children safe after you lost your beautiful Jamie. It is good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
6 years next week.
6 years next week. Horrible.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fred.
All right, good people. Wow. I can't imagine, what a parent would experience and go through after losing a kid. I don't even want to imagine. I know that's something that's just speechless. It's speechless. It really is. And to lose them, especially to something senseless like this, that could have been prevented. So my heart goes out to those parents. But also, I know that they felt justice was served. They felt relieved. You saw their faces in the courtroom. So glad that finally a parent was held accountable for something like this, because like he says, I didn't realize it was 70%. I thought the number was a little higher than that, but 70% of those shootings are done by kids, youth, teenagers, young people, even younger than that. So I know this is going to raise another level of awareness. So hopefully people now with children and who also have guns are going to really be extra careful and mindful of making sure that they're secured, they're locked, and they only have the access to them. The parents are the only ones who have the access to these guns. It's sad, but she ignored the signs. They told her what she needed to do when she didn't do it. So that's another level of accountability. If you have school administration that's telling you some things with your kid and they've noticed, don't play the defensive parent. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be defensive about what they're telling you about your kid. Because out of all the things they got to do during the day, why they gonna make that up? Why they gonna make, out of all the stuff they got going on, out of all the kids they got to see about, why they gonna keep calling your kid in the office? Why they gonna keep pulling your kid to the side? Come on. All right. Okay, great. Wait, whoop, you messing with my screen. Whoop. All right, great people. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you in the next video. Appreciate you guys.